Okay, hello and welcome to this winter storm update. So we did have a little bit of a thump of snow, though not nearly as long or intense as I thought it was going to be. And so we only have a couple of inches on the ground, maybe, and that's stretching it. And as you can see, we're in a break now. So honestly, I don't think we're going to see these higher end totals. I honestly don't. I don't. And I'm going to update my forecast, too, as a result of that. We're going to update it. I'll be drawing it out for you. So anyway, you can see you've got sleet, a lot of sleet mixing in over central Jersey, but we had sleet, even though the radar didn't show it, we had a lot of sleet on the South Shore as well. Further north, though, in the middle of the island of the North Shore, it was snow, and there was a decent thump of it. But right now, looking at the radar, there's heavier snow out over the east end, and this is mostly just lighter stuff. There's some lighter stuff and some steadier stuff, but the storm is really turning out to be not as bad as the higher end. That's why I was cautious, and I did my 4 to 8. Just so I didn't think that, just in case it would get up to 8, but I really thought it was going to be more around 4 inches, to be honest with you. But the sleet did make things slippery and icy, and obviously, looking at the current radar, you can see here's the storm moving pretty quickly over us. This is the Clipper type storm that we are having right now, and actually, just a very interesting day and unusual. So we did have a little sunshine earlier on in the day, some breaks in the clouds, and then we got pretty overcast by later in the afternoon. And to show you how fast the temperatures dropped, you could see a little bit of ice forming there along the lake. And then we had a little bit of a this is in Belmore around 7 o'clock. We had a little bit of a thump around, say, 6 o'clock or so that coated the ground. You can see there were some big flakes there, but this is what it looked like on the South Shore. It was flakes, but most of it was sleet. But once I got back to the middle of the island by Roosevelt Field around, say, 8:30, this is what it looked like. So, so a big difference between the North Shore, the middle of the island, and the South Shore. And even here, even when I got back to Minneapolis, it came down, but then when it got lighter, there was actually some sucky drizzle mixed in. So, sucky drizzle, and that's going to mean ice, more of an ice situation, I think, which is not what I want to hear. We were hoping for powder, but unfortunately, it does not look like we're getting that once again. Well, we have warmer than normal ocean temperatures. That warmth gets put in as well. We are on a warming planet, so the models don't necessarily always figure that out. But anyway, we do have some snowfall reports from the Weather Service. The winter storm warning is still in effect, I think, maybe because of the ice, but honestly, I don't see these higher end amounts verifying, but we're going to go to the snowfall reports. I think we should drop the winter storm warning at this point and have a winter weather advisory. So here we go. Here's some amounts. Higher amounts in Fairfield County, upstate, even Orange County, Stewart Airport, 3.1 inches. Central Park, only 0.3 inches as of 7 p.m. Suffolk County, Islip got 1.9 inches as of 7 p.m., so they might add a little bit onto that. Maybe Suffolk's going to get a little more. Center Reach, 1.8 inches. Upton at the weather office got 1.4 inches. Somers and Westchester County got 3 inches, but we're not seeing the 8 to 10 inches that everybody was going to say was going to happen. I wanted to be cautious about this storm because I had a feeling that the models were overdoing it just a little bit, all right? This is what we have right now. So nothing really terribly impressive. We're going to go look at some of the observations over the area. Here's the winter storm warning, again, remaining in effect for Long Island. And now they kind of extended it a little eastward into parts of Connecticut. It's most of Connecticut now. But let's take a look at some observations here. West Hampton is reporting, and we just have to look at the visibility here. Light snow. There was a period where it got to snow with half-mile visibility as well as here. So here's another thump right here. And heavy snow was reported. So there's a thump right there that happened around. I think the heavier snow is going east. You can see it's colder over there, too. The temperatures have come up quite a bit. But when you look at Islip, which we'll go to next. Waiting for it to load, of course. It's doing this again. All right, there was heavy snow reported at 6:12, but then it went to light snow at 6:56. Then it went to heavier snow again at, or snow regular snow at 7:56 p.m. and regular snow at 5:56. And the visibility's got down to a quarter of a mile there. So it did come down. And it seems like maybe it's getting a little more out east, perhaps, versus over New Jersey. So that's what we have right now. Obviously, it was a cold day today. The high temperatures only in the upper 20s. And those are probably the current temperatures. It got down to around 20 this morning, by the way. No radiational cooling, but maybe a little bit, but not much with the clouds coming in. So that's what we've got for snowfall amounts right now. And like I said, not really seeing a whole lot out there. And again, it seems like maybe it came down a little bit heavier. This is the other radar that we have here. There are some heavier, but this is all sleet mixed in Jersey. Just seeing here sleet and rain. So we're going to look at some cameras and traffic cameras and take a look and see what things look like across the area. And I'm going to update my forecast at this point because I think it needs to be changed. It's kind of late in the game already. All right, so here it looks like it's coming down much better. Suffolk County, it seems, north and east. That seems to be a decent amount of snow that's falling over there. Here's the Southern State Parkway, snow covered as well. So that thump really did its thing. But let's see as we go further south how it looks. All right, it's kind of dark here, but it looks like there's less snow on the road here. But it looked like Suffolk got more than we did in Mineola, that's for sure. So it looks like Suffolk has gotten more. Let's go a little further out east. There's the LA, pretty snow covered. It's hard to say according to these pictures how much is on the ground, but it definitely seems like more than here. For sure. Middle Island. That's Yaphank, actually. So let's go into Nassau County. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll go look at the Wandsell Parkway. Yeah, not as much over there. Well, there is snow on the road. Let's look at Carl Place. Yeah, see, a lot less here. So it seems like Suffolk County wound up getting that thump, and then the thump kind of just skipped over us a little bit. We had a little bit of a thump, like I said, around 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30, but it didn't last for very long. And then if we go to the South Shore, like Wandsall here, yeah, it doesn't look like there's that much snow on the road. Let's go and look at Merrick here. All right, that camera's not working. What about Belmore? Okay, so there's a decent amount of snow on the road here too as well. But there was some sleet too, so this could be sleet as well, which made things pretty slippery. So, and things are slippery because of that. Now we're going to go and look at New Jersey and see what it looks like over there. And we'll go ahead and look at some of the cameras there if they work. Let's go to Toms River and see what they have there, because I have a feeling I'm not seeing much on the ground at all over there. Let's see over here. Yeah, the roads are just wet, basically. Yeah, there's some snow on the ground, but it doesn't look like a whole lot, mostly sleet. So not a whole lot at all there. And then as you go further north, that's when you see the higher amounts. Look, we go to Old Bridge probably. No, look at that. Roads are mostly wet over there. See that or not, but the roads are mostly wet. So even Old Bridge does not look like much snow fell over there at all. You have to go further north, I guess. We have to go up closer to here maybe to see maybe a little more snow on the road here. Still not much. Let's go a little further north. Yeah, there's a little more. So once you get to North Jersey, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, this storm is really turning out to be not that impressive at all. So we'll go ahead and look at the models, even though we're in the middle of the storm here. And I'm just going to talk about the weather, the rest of the storm, basically. So let's go to the HRRR. That is the quickest updating model we have. And looking at the 2Z run here, you can see it does show some mixing, but no real big thumps anymore. They'll just be very light snow falling, and it will linger around for at least a good part of Saturday here. Let's go to the 0Z run so we get a little more of what it looks like on Saturday. But you see here, the heaviest part is over. It's behind us now. So let's go to the total snowfall here and see if it's scale. All right, it has changed the map a little bit. You notice now it's putting the heavier snows more east. So more north and east. So Suffolk County would wind up seeing more. And barely nothing, basically, central Jersey. So it's definitely got the numbers down. Consider this is the 0Z. Let's see what the 2Z has. Even less. Even less. So, yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be, they need to drop the winter storm warning already. Because the storm is turning out. And that's why I was cautious with the storm. I knew there was a potential it's going to bust, meaning that we could see. The problem was we had a lot of, I'm going to go into this a little bit here. I'm going to go back to the 0Z run here. The models. Do we have 850 temps on this thing? I don't think this gives us 850 temps. But the temps at 850 were not great. There was a lot of warm air involved, all right? And if we go and we look at the, just point out one other thing here that, again, the models didn't account for or they couldn't figure out, is our sea surface temperature anomalies. The ocean waters are very warm. I think they still are warm, so let's go ahead and look at those anomalies here. Actually, not. Well, that doesn't look right. That's ocean currents. Where's the... I guess they did change the way this looks. It actually is below normal, the water. This actually, so I guess it's not. They changed the way this looks. So, well, I guess we can't blame the warmer than normal ocean temperatures for this. It's actually a little bit below normal, the water temperatures. But, yeah, the model's definitely busted on this. We can look at the HDRPS, but again, it's kind of a moot point. Here's the HDRPS here going out till only Saturday morning, but you can see we're not going to see very high-end snow amounts on this storm. So they hyped, I tell you, it was nuts. I was in the supermarket. People were panicking. The supermarket was like so jammed. I was in ShopRite in Deer Park, and it was so jammed. I had to wait online for like 15 minutes to almost 20 minutes. It was a madhouse. It's like, I mean, because the models were saying this was going to be big, and I was never buying the 8-inch amounts. I really wasn't. Well, let's look at the map again that I put together, and I'm going to go to the map right now. So here's my original snowfall map that I put yesterday. I put 4 to 8 inches, and I put that big spread because I had a feeling it might be closer to 4 or 5 inches. It looks like we're going to get even less than that in Nassau. But I think Suffolk, you're going to see that. This kind of gets pushed a little more to the northeast, to 3 to 6. This may not even verify in this area. So more like 3 inches, all right? 1 inch in Tom's River, barely, all right? So that's why they were blowing it out of proportion, and I think it's time to drop this winter storm warning. At this point, it is slippery out there, but we're not going to see heavy snow accumulation. It's pretty obvious that's not going to be happening. So let's go to the RGM, and we'll just talk about the sky conditions. And you can see all the models kind of backing off on the heavier snow amounts. Obviously, will we see the sun tomorrow? Maybe later in the day. Maybe there's a chance that we'll see it. But then the clouds kind of start coming in as we get into Sunday. I can look at some of the other models here. Some of the other models were a little more optimistic about maybe seeing a little bit of sunshine tomorrow, maybe than I am. But other than that, it will remain cold and below freezing. So whatever we do have on the ground isn't going to melt. Again, we're looking at the wind flow here. We got a northeasterly wind flow tomorrow, so that kind of keeps the cold air in. But the dew points get close to the freezing mark in the overnight hours, but we still have that northeast wind throughout the day, so that's going to keep the temperatures down. We're going to see temperatures basically stay around, will warm up to maybe around the freezing mark, maybe slightly above in the morning, but then it's going to drop once we get later in the afternoon. We'll drop back into the upper 20s to around 30 as we get to tomorrow, and I'll go through all the snow totals as we get. Tomorrow I'll do another special video for the snow totals. But anyway, let me draw a new snowfall map for you, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the new snowfall map I just drew, and I trimmed these totals back, all right? So honestly, I think that it's going to be 3 to 6 over most of Suffolk County. And again, most areas, the higher a higher terrain, probably more likely seeing the 6-inch amount. Most people are going to see 3 to 4 inches. Nassau County, New York City, 2 to 4 inches. We'll be lucky to get 2 inches at this point. And the 1 to 3 over central Jersey, more like 1 inch at this point. And then if you're in Ocean County, Toms River on south, 1 inch or less. So this storm definitely turning out. It's time to drop the winter storm warning. I think because of what happened the last time with the last storm, because they underreacted, now they want to overreact. But it's time to pare down these numbers. I'm just kind of curious if they've adjusted any of these forecast numbers. 6 to 10. They went with 6 to 10 inches. Are you kidding me? That is not happening tonight. I am sorry. They are crazy. This just goes to show you what's going on with our National Weather Service here at this point. Maybe they're short-staffed. I don't know what it is, but it's obvious we're not getting those higher-end numbers because we barely have that on the ground as it is. It's unbelievable. And again, if we go to the latest snowfall amounts, this was just up. This was already all right. This was just updated. So here we go. We have some higher amounts. Obviously, Fairfield County. Are you getting those higher amounts? New Haven. You're getting those higher amounts. Let's go to Suffolk County. All right, so Wisconsin's got 5 inches on the ground, all right? Center Merchants has got 4.2 inches on the ground, all right? And 3 inches at Miller Place. Center Reach has 2.9 inches. Islip Airport only has 1.9 inches, all right? So when we go to our map here, and again, well, I probably should have put another area in over here that probably I could draw it right now. Show paint dialogue. I probably should have put another area in right here for a higher amount. So probably this interior Fairfield area here could see probably more like 7 to 9, maybe 7 to 10 inches in this little area right here, right? But for the most part, I think this is what it's because I don't really see a whole lot more accumulation tonight. Let's see how Nassau did. Queens, Fresh Meadows, only 1.5 inches. Nassau County, Syosset has 2.3 inches as of 8:30. Newark Airport, only 0.4 inches. Jeez, Jersey really got shortchanged. You have to adjust those numbers down in Jersey even more. But it looks like New Haven County, Fairfield, that whole area, Naugatuck, Meriden, Waterbury, and again, showing you on the map here, it's this area right here. This part of Connecticut right here getting the higher amounts. But so far, again, it seems like Suffolk seeing more snow than Nassau by quite a bit. And Wisconsin, obviously the highest amount, 5.1 inches. So right in that 3 to 6 inch range. Could we get another inch or two on top of that? Looking at the satellite and looking at what the models are saying, I have my doubts because I'm going to go back to the models here. Go back here. HRRR, and you can see the heaviest snow is already over, and it's mainly going to be light. So it may add up to another inch or two. But honestly, I don't think you're going to see those crazy high amounts that everybody's been calling for at this point. And let's see what Suffolk County. They're still going with the 8 to 10, right? Suffolk, 7 to 11 inches. They are apt. Snow could be heavy at times. Meanwhile, Islip is Shirley's just reporting fog and 1 mile visibility. So, I mean, I don't know why they're not adjusting their forecast downward. Well, let's see what it is for the city. I'm kind of curious. For the city, it's light snow, or there's light snow. Let's see, they're calling for 3 to 5 inches. All right, so they've dialed it down for the city, it looks like. But honestly, looking at some of these observations here, and this is the radar, by the way, and you can see there's a break. You can see there is a heavier patch of snow here over here. So it's possible, yeah, we may have to pull this a little more, this 7 to 10 band, a little more south over parts of Long Island, perhaps. Parts of, looks like that central Suffolk area, perhaps, in the Pine Barrens might see that. But other than that, like I said, the storm is not turning out to be the big storm that for most of us, but there are a few people that will wind up getting higher end amounts. But honestly, we're going to go back to those observations again. We're going to look at some of the observations, and we'll wrap this up for you. But let's go back to some of these observations here. Islip is reporting visibility of, doesn't show the visibility here. Where is it? Oh, I got to go over here to get the visibility. So the last observation at 9:56 had 0.25 visibility. Okay. That could just be fog, though. There's light snow. But let's go and look at some more cameras because this is not really helping us too much. So it seems like, yeah, it seems like Nassau County missing out on the really good stuff. But let's see. Look at Suffolk County here. That's what it looks like. Doesn't look like it's coming down that heavy, to be honest with you. That's Deer Park Avenue. Let's go a little bit toward over here. We'll go a little further east, see if it looks a little more interesting. And it doesn't want to load. Yeah, it does not look like it's coming down all that heavy out there. Let's go further east. It's probably this area right here where it's coming down a little more. Yeah, this area looks... It doesn't look like it's coming down that hard, but it definitely is a lot of snow on the road for sure. But it does not look like it's coming down that hard. So, yeah, I think they still think they need to drop the winter storm warning, except for Suffolk County at this point in Connecticut. So that's all I got for you right now. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll be proven wrong and there'll be another thump of snow later. But honestly, I think it's time to dial this back a little bit because the storm's definitely not turning out. The sleet was completely unexpected. The mixing with the sleet was really not something I expected at all. And you'll see a video of what things were like in my travels this evening. So anyway, have a good night. Be careful out there, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what we get. We'll know by tomorrow. Good. Have a good night.